All right, guys, welcome back to H2H, the NFL pick show in which Tasos and I battle it out each and every week. We are now in week number 2. Tasos, I must hand back the crown that I had from last year. You did come into, coming into week number 2 after week 1 with a W. I will say, I mean, it's going to be tough to win anything if I keep going 0-4, because that was not the best performance. So I think that I dragged my feet a little bit, if we want to put it gently. But how are you feeling after your dub in week number 1? By the way, guys, we'll explain how the show works in just a second, but I got to give Tassos a little bit of a shine here. He did take the win in week 1.
We talked about it very briefly before we started recording. It's a bittersweet thing because, of course, starting off 1-0, great start to the year in terms of the win category, but in terms of the actual performance, I got to give my hats off to you because you basically you said, "Here, take this win and have it." You gifted this to me. I mean, you went
Pleasure doing business with you, sir.
0-4, which means obviously the fade me pick. You gave me that win. I only picked one winning pick on this show of the 3 picks I gave out. Geno Smith to record an interception. But then I had Ravens money line, which I think, or I had the -1.5, which I think goes without saying was a nightmare of an outcome. And then Texans did not play a good game. So yeah, I said, I'll take the win. It's 1-0. Well, it was ugly. Sometimes you got to win ugly games. But I'm not gonna go ahead and dance on your grave here because the hole next to you is wide open with my name on the tombstone. So
yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. I will say, and we texted about this. I think it was maybe like Saturday or something. But those and I hate being the guy that's like, oh, what coulda, shoulda, woulda, and all that. I had that the Steelers -2.5. They won by what?
Yep.
2, right? That over in the freaking Falcons and Bucks game. Missed field goal. They could have gone to overtime. That cashes. And then you throw on top Lad McConkey, which seemed like a statement spot for me because nobody in their grandmother's, and no one on social media agreed with me. Even that wasn't that bad of a look. So I was sitting there like just, oh my God, I think I chipped a tooth from clenching my jaw. So tough on how tough that week 1 was. But nonetheless, guys, let me explain a little bit about what you're going to get in H2H. This is season 3, week number 2. Guys, Tasos and I battle it out each and every week. Like I said earlier, the cool thing is that we spin a wheel that dictates which categories we have to look into. We go back and forth. You can't double dip into some of the plays. So if I get one and Tasos wanted that one, he can't steal it. A lot of unique stuff here. Whoever comes out on top units wise at the end of the week gets a win for the week. Tasos, you are now 1-0. Anything you want to say to the people before we do jump into week 2 here?
All I'm going to say is continue to be cautious. I've been saying this on my videos a lot, and I think some people are starting to get tired of hearing it, but it's like these first couple of weeks, as shown between this video, I know Ev, a couple of your videos, you had a rough start. I didn't do great on the Oracle this week. It's these first couple of weeks of NFL football are a crapshoot. I'm not saying don't bet, have fun, but maybe don't put your full unit or 2 units on a play. Maybe dial it back a little bit here in the early parts of the year. It's brutal out there. It's brutal. It's tough. We're still trying to figure out who these teams are. So that's my one big advice to all you boys and girls, although I guess boys and girls really shouldn't be betting on sports, but all you men and women out there, be careful because these first couple weeks can be tough.
Start them young. All right, let's go ahead and dive into the wheel, guys. You're going to see a wheel on your screen. It has a bunch of Ev slices, a bunch of Tasos slices. Whoever this lands on goes first in our draft. It is a snake draft from there. Tasos, I don't know if we've ever had this many slices on the wheel to open, but I got a little crazy today. You ready to spin it?
I'm ready to spin it. Do you want
the wheel? Do you want I don't even know. Everything's upside down right now.
Oh boy.
Looks like it's gonna be.
It's gonna be you.
Okay. All right.
Go figure. When you don't really want it, you get
I know. I was like, I don't really care at this point. All right, you guys are gonna see another wheel on your screen. So I'm gonna get the first pick in round number 1. Tasos obviously second. When we get to round number 2, he starts off. It's a snake draft. Tasos, we have a new slice on the wheel here, and I gave credit where it's due. So we asked you guys last week for any ads or any categories that you think would be cool to add to the slice. And Who Care said, how about anytime touchdown? And it was like, yeah, that's kind of a no-brainer. Like, I like that one. So Who Cares? Shout out to you for recommending that. We added it into the slice. Alongside that, we have 2 spreads, 2 player props, money line, total, Thursday Night Football, and plus money play. Go ahead and keep adding, or guys, asking if we can add any other slices in the comments, because that was really helpful last week. And now we have a new slice of the wheel here. By the way, once we land on something, we remove it from the wheel. So I'm starting us off. Let's go ahead and spin it. Tasos, the only thing that I don't really like this week is totals. So anything else, I think I'm okay with, especially with the first pick here.
You get a plus money play to start.
Plus money, that would probably be my second least favorite. So good to start us off on that. In terms of plus money play, I have a, do I go crazy? What do we think? I know you're my opposition, but do you feel like crazy could be in the
this? We talked briefly before we started recording. This board sucks. All right, the board is not great this week. Ev, let it fly. Let's swing away.
All right, I'm going player prop for this plus money play. It's a +1. I think I saw it at plus 150. I'll get the odds afterwards, but it's going to be a kicker prop, Tasos.
No, great. Here we go.
Yeah, but it's a plus 150. Kicker prop's kind of wild. Joey Slye, Tennessee Titan, over 1.5 field goals made. Had 4 in week number 1 against Denver. Now they take on the Rams, who actually are a pretty decent red zone defense, tied for 5th last year in terms of red zone efficiency to their opponents. This is a Tennessee team that obviously has a rookie quarterback, and they kind of stink in the red zone. I don't know how good they are overall. I mean, maybe getting past the 50-yard line is going to be the tough thing here. But for plus 150, you know me and my kicker props. Joey Slye needs to make 2 of them for plus 150. How random is that? And did I tee it up correctly saying it was crazy?
It's crazy for anybody else except for you, and that's why it's not exactly what I wanted to hear from you. I was hoping when I said go crazy, you were going to be like, oh, Panthers money line, or oh,
yeah, actual crazy.
Yeah, we're going Titans money line, but no, you went with a kicker prop, which is your. If people didn't watch the show last year, this was your expertise. This is where you made your money last year. Was on these stupid kicker props that you had a 6th sense for it. I'm not even going to try to poke a hole in it, honestly. You're the king of kicker props. How can I possibly poke a hole in your? The Titans offense. Here's the thing: they actually did move the ball pretty decently against a really stout Broncos defense. But like you said, their efficiency in the red zone was a disaster. Which makes sense. This offensive line stinks. They didn't really do a good job of giving Cam Ward weapons. I mean, Calvin Ridley was a nice name to throw out a couple years ago. Now, I don't know if wide receiver 1 is really worthy. Tyler Lockett's their wide receiver 2. Again, in 2020, that I'd be like, wow, pretty good. But now, I don't know how efficient that is. So they don't really have a great offense, but they have enough there. I think Cam Ward's talented enough. They do have Tony Pollard still running back. Again, another blast from the past, kind of. But they have just enough where they should be able to move the football here. The problem is finishing drives, which is where your prop comes into play, where as long as they get into field goal range, Joey Slye should be able to go ahead and do some work there. So, yeah, him hitting, was it 2 field goals he needs to cash it?
Yep, over 1.5, yep. And I'm already, I mean, I hate to jinx it, but knock on wood here, I'm 1 for 1 in kicker props this year. I had Reichard there on the Vikings, over 1.5 for my Monday Night Football plays, and he hit in the first half. So hopefully we get a little bit of luck there. But yeah, Joey Slye, over 1.5 field goals made. Didn't leave you with too much time to overthink any of yours or think more about it. What do you got for a plus money play?
Yeah, you really didn't give me much to work with here. But I am thinking of fighting fire with fire. And maybe tap in to see how I do with these kicker props.
Okay.
I'm going with Matt Gay of the Washington Commanders over 1.5 field goals made. Now it's plus 105 over on BetMGM. I honestly, when the minute you say kicker prop, I went right to the outlier.
I knew you did. Now you got to give me a little. I kind of did push. I might have bullied you into that direction. Like there's no chance you walked into this. There's no chance you walked into this with a kicker prop.
It's more just like, you know what? Every time you bet kicker prop, I just kind of take it and I just kind of stay quiet and I go like, you know what? Let me just fight fire with fire. Let me go with the same strategy you go with and see how it works.
Okay.
Matt Gay over 1.5 field goals made. Now, Washington, I wouldn't say their offense is nearly as inefficient as Tennessee is, nowhere close to that inefficient. But I do think with this game, what's going to be difficult for Washington is the Packers have a pretty good defense. If you didn't hear, they obviously got this guy, Micah Parsons, over from the Dallas Cowboys. Now, granted, he is on a little bit of a snap count. Like, they're not playing him, the full game. He's on a limited snap count But even in week one, Green Bay's
Yeah.
pressure rate was pretty impressive. They bring the pressure, okay? And I do think Washington, one area where I'm kind of concerned with them is their offensive line. Yes, they had Larry Tunsil. Yes, on paper, they're better than they were a year ago. They actually gave up quite a bit of pressure to the Giants. Now, the Giants, I think people are discrediting them immediately. If you want to discredit their offense, go right ahead. But defensively, I mean, Abdul Carter, they have that stacked defensive line. Kayvon Thibodeau, it's solid. Them getting pressures to me isn't all that surprising, but to say that Green Bay's defense won't do the same thing here again, I just think that Jaden Daniels will have a clean pocket. He didn't really necessarily have that in week one. I don't see why he would have it in week two. I think Green Bay is going to be able to make things uncomfortable for him. Now, again, this Commanders offense, they have a lot of firepower. They're going to be able to move the football to a certain degree. And I just think in this situation, I could see them moving the ball into Packer territory, and then this defensive line gets to them, and then it's like, all right, drive over, kick a field goal. I have a hard time seeing them finishing a ton of drives here because this Green Bay defense genuinely, even taking the Micah Parsons effect out of it, the defense looked genuinely much improved compared to last year. So I think Washington's offense is good enough, and that's the important thing with these kicker props is you need an offense that can at least drive the field. Yep. Even if they're not necessarily scoring touchdowns, they got to be able to move the ball. If they're not even getting past the 50-yard line, like the New England Patriots, for example, then you got a bit of a problem, right?
Well, I don't know if the kicker would make any field goals, even if they did.
Bora Gallus or whatever his name is.
Another talk for another day from two Patriots fans.
But I do think Washington, even though the Green Bay defense is solid, I think Washington offensively with Jaden Daniels and obviously, Terry McLaurin will hopefully be better in week two. They have Debo now, who had a pretty solid first game for them. Yep. They should be able to move the football pretty effectively. It's just once you get inside the 30-yard line, the 20-yard, in the red area, how will the offense look then? I think that I could see them settling for field goals at least twice in this game. So I think over 1.5 field goals for plus 105, I think it's pretty good value.
Yeah, I don't mind it. I mean, this guy cashed and it looks like 12 of his last 14 games last year. And I do think that when you play in a primetime game like this with two good teams, like these are two of the more impressive teams in week number one, I think that you take the points when you can. You know what I mean? Because you're not going to fully trust your defense to stop the Packers offense and, go for it and risk getting 0 points on a drive that could result in some points. So I like that from a game theory as well. And kind of on that same note, like watching this, and I watched a lot of that game last week, knowing that I was doing the Thursday Night Football video this upcoming week, and then rewatched a lot of it too. Like there was a lot of those Washington drives, even though they won, was it like 21-6 or something like that? There was a lot of drives that actually kind of stalled out for them. Didn't result in field goals. I'm not saying that, but even if they were, 30 yards further down the field and stuff, we could have seen some field goals from Washington. So yeah, I definitely don't mind this spot. I don't know if anybody clicked into this video and said, you know what I want right off the rip is 2 kicker props. Me and Tasos brought the big sexy plays for you this week. And we're living up to the hype. But hey, you got to do what you got to do. I know, Tasos, you said it's bullying would be the wrong word. I think I totally bullied you into that because there's, again, no chance.
I wouldn't, hold on. I didn't get bullied in anything. I genuinely.
You did.
What?
You did. You didn't. You weren't going to take a kicker prop. I took a kicker prop and you said, oh man, I gotta take a kicker prop now. That's what happened.
I don't know if it's so much like that. It's almost like in the movie.
Oh yeah, he didn't bully me for my lunch money. I wanted to give him my lunch money. I really wanted to give him my lunch money. He didn't bully me.
It's like in the movie when the villain, it's like, hey, I got all this stuff for you, and it's like, man, I know I shouldn't do it, but it looks kind of good. Maybe I'll go over that to the dark side. You know what I mean? So
you got trapped.
I wasn't. You got tricked. The wrong word. I was intrigued by the idea of
your analogy you just used. Might have been the worst analogy. Maybe, ever.
Yeah,
so either I'm the villain and just tricked you into it, or I bullied you. You choose. I'll let you choose which one you want.
I was seduced to the dark side. Yeah, either way,
yes.
The analogy doesn't work.
Fair enough. I think you probably could have brought more ammo.
One last actual point here, though. Matt, this is from Outlier, by the way. Shout out to Outlier. Matt Gay has exceeded 1.5 field goal made in 12 of his last 15 games. That obviously dates back to last year, averaging exactly 2 field goals made per game over his last 15 games. So only 3 times, that includes this past week 1, has he not cashed the over. So the data is on our side here for sure.
Yep. Yep. All right. Don't necessarily hate it. We got a couple kickers to watch, and now we got something in Thursday Night Football specifically, too. But all right, guys, hate to break up the action for 1 second, but I did want to talk to you about Outlier. You've heard us talk about Outlier plenty on this channel over the years. That's because it remains our favorite player prop research tool. Check out the link down in the description as well as the pinned comment, or scan the QR code on your screen right now. You'll get a 7-day free trial. 7 days free for you to make the decision whether or not you like Outlier or not. I know the answer is going to be yes, but hey, go do it yourself, right? Even after that trial's over, they don't have this big gotcha moment. No, it's just $19.99 per month after that. You hit some plays with Outlier, it's going to pay for itself. Go ahead and check it out, guys. They are constantly building and making this tool even better. Outlier, go check it out. Link down in the description as well as the pinned comment, or scan that QR code right here. Now let's get you back to H2H. But all right, let's dive into round number 2. You're going to be starting us off. And let's see if I can get this to work. Boom, there it is. All right, so plus money play is off the board. We still obviously have 2 spreads, 2 totals, 2 player props. Actually, no, not 2 totals. 2 spreads, 2 player props, 1 total, 1 money line, 1 Thursday Night Football play, which you've already dipped into, and then anytime touchdown. Let me shuffle this another time and spin it. You have anything particular that you like this week?
Yeah, spread the totals. Spread the totals. I'm going to get a spread here.
I think you might get. Is that going to sit?
Sit.
Wow, is that a close one? Is it? Yes, it is. Called
close.
your shot there.
Yep.
All right.
Had to.
All right.
I don't have many spreads, so I was like, let me get this one out of the way here.
All right.
I'm actually very interested to see where you go with your pick. I'm going to be honest.
Okay.
Where I'm going with my pick, I think we're getting the benefit of one team that didn't play very well in week 1, even though they did win the game, and one team that took everyone by surprise. I'm going with the Broncos here, and actually, as we're recording, the line is moving. Now you can get it for -1.5. Let's see what Sportsbooks is. Yeah, -1.5 for -113 on FanDuel. Now, Novig actually has it for plus money, but I know Novig, it's a newer sports. It's not as widely used as FanDuel. I don't know what the ruling will be on that. Do you want to use the Novig odds?
I think it's widely, take your plus money. It's right. Pretty widely available. Guys, by the way, we have a link in the description for Novig as well if you do want to go ahead and sign up. So there you go, Tasos. You can take it.
There you go. Didn't do a great job of selling our sponsor there, but
Yeah.
But Novig, so they have it plus 102. So Broncos -1.5 or plus 102. This line screams overreaction. That's the one benefit that week 2 has, is that you have some of these week 1 teams, and the Colts are a perfect example where they just blow through expectations and we all overreact and the line adjusts. I want to actually look. I'll talk through it while I'm trying to see what the line movement was. But this line had to be like a week or 2 ago. It had to be like -5.5 Broncos. Like this.
So it opened up on August 11th, which is obviously summer, at 3.5. Then on the 7th, 3.5 it remained. The 7th it went to 3 to 2.5. Yeah, so the last couple days, at courtesy of Outlier as well, you click right into that. It's in the top right of the screen. Yeah, it's gone from 3.5 down to 1, which I guess is kind of what you're saying, but that's not as many points as you might.
No, I genuinely, honestly, I think this spread before week 1 would have been like 5.5 Broncos. Then obviously, and it makes sense. The Broncos, obviously, yes, they won week 1, but it was a crappy effort versus a Titans team that I think everyone agrees is not that great. And then the Colts, who I think everyone was making fun of for starting Daniel Jones over Anthony Richardson, they didn't just win week 1, they decimated the Miami Dolphins. So I think it's a bit of a overreaction on both sides here. The value you're getting on Denver is out of this world. They still have, if not the best defense, one of the 5 best defenses in the National Football League. And I know Bo Nix, he looked very, very, very bad in week 1. I do believe that Sean Payton and this Broncos offense will turn things around. They didn't have a lot to work with last year, and their offense was pretty decent. They have even more to work with this year. The offensive line is phenomenal. They have some running backs now. I think Denver's offense is still a work in progress, but this Colts team, as good as they looked in week 1, I think that speaks more to how bad and how much of a crapshoot the Dolphins are than it necessarily is how good. Now, the Colts, they went 8-9 last year, so they weren't a bad team to begin with, but I do think that Denver's a different level. Like, the Colts are going to go from playing that Miami defense, which was god-awful, to the Broncos defense, which is suffocating. They have a great secondary, great pass rush, great defensive line, everything. They're solid across the board. I think Denver -1.5 is honestly a gift, in my opinion. In terms of looking at all the lines for this week, this is the one that jumped out to me right away. And again, I was going to take it at 2.5, because that's what it originally was. You giving me 1.5 and plus money? Come on, this is a great line.
Yeah, I'm kind of shocked that the line's moving in that direction. Quite honestly, I mean, maybe it's because the Colts are at home 2 games in a row. You know what I mean? Denver goes from playing at home but like, I don't know. Like, I really can't poke a hole in it because this is already a spot that I've already looked at, and I actually had circled, just like looking at the early lines on Sunday. I had circled 3.5, thinking about buying a point to 2.5, just like in just kind of sharpening up for the week ahead. The
Yeah.
fact that this has already moved naturally to plus money for -1.5, which you can snag right now, is almost alarming. Like, you say it as a good thing that you're getting the plus money now for the better line. I think, like, what the heck is going on here? I know that they have the big injury of, I don't even call it a big injury, Evan Engram. People are really high on him this year, but like, I don't think that moves the needle that much. They have a few, like Drake Greenlaw, I guess, is a linebacker, obviously worth noting. But yeah, the only thing that I can say to counter your spot here is, what the hell's going on? You know what I mean? Which
I genuinely think
you think it's overreaction,
I think
right?
it's the overreaction. I think that people saw the Colts, and now everyone, because the truth is, the Colts do have a solid defense. They've got a solid offense. Now, you can question Daniel Jones, and I think he deserves his flowers because we love to crap on him when he's bad, but he played phenomenal against Miami, and they look very good. But again, I'm not saying you can't give them any credit for their week 1 win, but a lot of their success came from the fact the Dolphins have offensive line. They have issues everywhere. Offensive
Yep.
line issues. Tyreek wants out. Tua, he has his issues at quarterback. Their defense is not great. They plugged a lot of their holes, the Dolphins. I know we're talking Broncos, Colts here, but we're talking Dolphins. Their defense, they plugged all their holes with veterans. Like, they brought in Rasul
Yeah.
Douglas. They brought in like all these older guys to kind of fix their problems. And I just don't understand a lot of the things they did. So I think the Colts, I don't want to take too much away from them, but I do think this is a decent team. But the way the market is adjusting, people are like, oh my God, the Colts is this for real? And I think the fact that, like, the Denver Broncos weren't just bad, like Bo Nix was unwatchable in week 1. Like, he was truly terrible. I think that was his worst start as a pro in the NFL. And I think a lot of people are looking at this Broncos team mixed with obviously the injuries to Evan Ingram, which I do think is a factor. I think people are just they're selling their stock in the Broncos a little too early. They got a little scared off because they played Tennessee of all teams. Had that game happen against the Texans or the Chiefs, people wouldn't have put too much thought into it. But the fact that they played that closely and that poorly with the Titans, and the Colts played so well, I think that the market's overreacting a lot here. But I think 1.5 is a gift. This Broncos off the defense alone, they should be able to win this game. Daniel Jones in his career, when he plays pressure, when he plays defenses like this, you get the Danny Derps. The fumbles come out, the interceptions come out. I think you could see a very similar thing here. So I think Bo Nix will be better, but I think more so the Broncos defense is going to put Daniel Jones in a lot more uncomfortable situations than he was in week 1 versus Miami.
Yep, that wouldn't shock me at all. I'm going to a spot in which I'm not getting plus money, but I am getting a 2.5 number, which burned me last week.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be with the same team, Tasos.
Oh my dude, no way.
Steelers. I'm not doubling down. I'm double in the sense of taking them again. Okay, so when I say I'm doubling down on them, and it's not by the show rules. Them is
what you're saying? You don't.
No. Just
pick enough to double
just
down.
just a standard. Fine, screw it. You know what?
Double down on the Broncos. Double down on Broncos -1.5.
Okay. Yeah. See, I bullied you yet again. I have you wrapped around my finger this episode.
No. It's just I want to prove my point that I'm so confident. You were like, 2.5. I'm not doubling down though, because
I'm still not.
Wow, you're not going to double down.
I head faked the hell out of you, guys. If you don't know what doubling down is, what we're talking about, and instead of putting 1 unit on it, you put 2 units on it. You double down on your own play.
Wow.
It's not soft. I think it's just smart. It's
conservative.
Comment
yes. #EvSoft down below in the comments if you agree. That's a soft move.
You know what? For the engagement, yeah. If you made it this far in the video, comment EvSoft. But Tasos, so Steelers -2.5 is what I'm rolling with. They obviously, I think that it's only 1 weekend, so I think that I could still be wrong. But you know how I talked last week about how I like Aaron Rodgers in this offense, DK Metcalf, and this offense did look really good. The defense didn't, which is weird. We both were like, oh, the defense is going to be good. I almost am sub fading, I guess, in a sense, not fully like fading the Seattle team, but I thought we were going to get a lot more out of Seattle last week. And they really didn't look that good. And I don't think it was because the 49ers were spectacular or anything. So yeah, this kind of comes down to, I liked what I saw out of, Pittsburgh. I think that they can outscore Seattle, but I also think at some point the big bad Pittsburgh defense will be good. Now they're at, they're at home here. They were in Meadowlands last week, right? I believe so. So now it's their home opener. They should be pretty damn fired up against the Seattle team that put up 12 or 13 points last week.
Yeah.
DK Metcalf return game, that might, have some added bonus too. I don't know if it was like an Aaron Rodgers like last.
So they're playing in Pittsburgh, so it wouldn't necessarily be a return.
So, you know what I mean? I guess revenge game. That's probably
yeah,
the word to use.
better. Yeah.
I don't know if that really isn't, I guess, like my main point, but yeah, I do like the Steelers this week. I think that their offense looked pretty damn good. Now, if they do that again, I don't think whether their defense shows up or not, the Seahawks can keep up with them, because I did not like what I saw out of that Seahawks offense.
Can I ask a question? So are you confirming? I just want to confirm 100%. No takesies backsies. All right. You're not doubling down, right?
I'm not.
All right. That's locked in. You can't change your mind.
You have like a trick up your sleeve or something? Am I missing something?
I want confirmation. I don't want you to turn back now. Like you're all in. Either you're double down or you're not.
Because you're going to say you like the pick.
No. I have something to say that might.
I am not going to double down. I'm not doubling down. Confirm. Okay. No takesies backsies.
All right. I love this pick.
I knew it. I know. Really.
I love this pick, and I hate to say.
Wait a second. You hated the Steelers last week.
I hated it, and I still don't love them. I think the Aaron Rodgers throwing 4 touchdowns thing is not going to happen.
That's not going to happen. Yeah.
This Seahawks team, and you were like, I don't know what you thought more was going to happen. What happened with this Seahawks team? I can tell you exactly what happened. This offensive line stinks. And Sam Darnold is like Geno Smith didn't get enough credit for how bad those offensive lines were the last couple of years. Sam Darnold is not the type of quarterback you want to put behind that offensive line. One of the reasons why he was successful in Minnesota, the offensive line was solid. Guess what happened later in the year when they had some injuries and stuff? The offensive line deteriorated. Guess what happened? Boom, boom, boom. He got messed up in those later games. Same thing is going to happen here. And I think the Seahawks defense is good enough, and I think the offense will figure some things out. The offensive line, every offensive line looked kind of weak in week 1, if we're being honest, because there's no preseason. It takes time to gel. But their offensive line in particular was pretty damn bad. And the Steelers defense did not look very good in week 1, but their pass rush is lethal. Sam Darnold is going to be under pressure all day long. That does not bode well in this game. And I think the Steelers offense did prove that I don't think they're going to rely on Rodgers to throw like he did in week 1 every week. But they proved, hey, if push comes to shove and we can't run the football, Aaron Rodgers can still put the ball in some tight spaces. He can still make the smart throws. And I will be honest, that's the best Rodgers has looked since wearing a Packers uniform. And I'm starting to, again, he's 41 years old or 40 years old. I don't think he's going to have a renaissance here. But I am starting to wonder if the whole Jets thing, was it partially the Jets kind of screwing him over? Although he kind of made the situation terrible by bringing in all of his friends. But
it's like a chicken before the egg, because it definitely, to me, it is Jets. It is organization, crap franchise right now. But at the same time, he got the coach fired, brought in, like you said, Devontae. It's like he came into a crap organization because he could put his finger on anything, do whatever he wanted. So neither one of which helped the other, But
Also there's one data point that is just it's one of the best betting trends in sports. It's just Mike Tomlin's not off a loss. Now that's even better. But Mike Tomlin, when he doesn't cover the spread, the next week his numbers for covering the spread are like, I don't have the numbers in front of me. I looked them up earlier.
And they just barely didn't cover last week.
And they just barely didn't cover. But like when he doesn't cover, you rest assured the next week he'll cover the spread. So they're at home in this one. Obviously, that's a huge advantage here. Seattle having to travel cross country off of that loss. Things they got to figure out offensively. I just think this is not a good spot for Sam Darnold. Ev, I know you might not believe me, but this was my second pick. If I didn't go with the other one, the Steelers, I didn't want to do it though because I felt like I didn't think you were going to go this way. Honestly, I thought after getting burned in week 1, you're going to go a different route. So I didn't. I just felt like if I took Steelers -3 as my pick, I get a lot of clap back because I obviously talked a lot of crap on them.
You did talk a lot of crap on them.
But
You know what's cool about
I love this pick a lot.
All right, perfect. I love when you love it. What I like, and I think the league just needs more of. So Aaron Rodgers, we've talked about him, and we don't have to spend too much time on this because we're going to talk. We're clearly talking a lot about him. I love that he's asked about like, hey, how's it feel to like beat the Jets and all this, whatnot. And he's like, I love it. Like, I don't like that organization.
That's where we disagree. I don't like that part.
But okay, why?
Because again, it's like I just mentioned. Like, don't get me wrong. I like the angle of it. Like, I like if this, for example, one of the reasons I was pulling for the Jets in this one is because I think one person who did really get screwed in this situation was Justin Fields. I think that he played well, not great, but the Steelers were 3-1 when they benched him, or 4-1 when they benched him,
whatever it was, yeah,
for Russell Wilson. And like, don't get me wrong, they were fine with Wilson, but I honestly don't think they did anything with Wilson that they couldn't have done with Justin Fields. I don't think he played. He had one bad start against the Colts, and they benched him immediately. And I'm like, I don't think that was deserving because he played pretty damn well to start the year. And then obviously they just kind of kicked him to the side for Aaron Rodgers. He is someone where if he came out and they beat the Steelers and he goes, yeah, screw the Steelers, he's someone where I'm like, okay, Aaron Rodgers, and again, like I just said, I do think that the Jets organization, obviously very dysfunctional, he deserves a lot of the blame for what happened there. I mean, he was the one that said, bring me Alan Lazard and bring me Nathaniel Hackett and bring me this guy.
But not when he met with their, was it the president or the GM or whatever, and they literally told him that they don't think that he's worth what they're going to pay him and moving forward and whatnot. I'm not saying the whole situation, but he got literally like, spit on by the front office, and then he goes out and beats them in week number 1. I think that's like putting it like this. Ready? If this show was every time we just gave a pick and both of us were like, oh, good pick, and just agreed, it's probably actually a little bit less entertaining, right? When we have a little bit of the rivalry going on or the back and forth, it's a better show.
I know you feel
that's one point.
So I'm not going to. Aaron Rodgers is entertainment. Like
that's what I was saying. I think the league needs more of that. I think the league needs more like rivalry.
If I'm being honest, I think he's a doofus, but he's an interesting doofus. And obviously, the fact that he is one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play the game, while also being just a weird guy, makes him entertaining. Like all the outbursts and everything. He's the Pat.
So that's what I meant. That's what I meant. Not necessarily like the actual whole situation. I loved when he's asked afterwards, how does it feel to like beat your old team? He just says it felt awesome like that. I couldn't have wanted anything more than that. I think
like I said, I don't feel the same way just because, like I said, it's different if he did his job, he did whatever, and then they were like, hey, you know what, screw you, buddy, you're out. He caused like the Jets had to move on. There was no way after last year they could bring him back.
I guess. All right, let's move on to round number 3. All right.
I'm ready. I'm still not pleased that I had to agree with you there. I'm happy that that's why I was like, are you doubling down?
I think I started to sense that because I was like, either there's a major injury I don't know, or you're about to say you love this pick, and it was clearly the latter. All right. We have still available 1 or 2 player props. We have a money line, a total, anytime touchdown, spread, and a Thursday night football spot as well. So there is, 7 more slices for 1 more round of the wheel spin, and then we get into the fade me round, which guys stick around for the fade me round. I gave Tasos a win in that round. I'm getting it back this week. All right, let's go ahead and spin it. I'm starting us off this round.
You are starting. I'm glad you're keeping the order in your head.
I'm so good at it now. Player prop.
Well, I wouldn't say you're so good at it. Let's give it some time.
Yeah, true. A week and a half into the year, and I'm just. All right. So player prop is what we have here for round number 3. I got a couple that I like. I do. Okay. So,
what kicker are you going with here?
I honestly, if we didn't have the plus money play, I would have probably gone crazy and gone with that Joey Sly play. So, it does take 1 off my sheet. Can we go touchdown scorer for player prop? That's right. Even though that's another category, that's okay. Let's see what I have for odds on this one, because all right, I don't want to say anything in case I don't like the odds. I think I like the odds.
Great entertainment here, Ev.
All right,
we got the people shaking in their
plus 145. Anytime touchdown scorer. You said that I was a wimp for not doubling down in that Pittsburgh and no.
Oh.
But I am gonna go DK Metcalf anytime touchdown scorer.
You're like, where's your Steelers jersey, Ev?
Yeah. Seriously.
You're,
I do really, I do
you're
like this
officially
spot.
you're a Yinzer. You're officially a Yinzer.
The fine folks in the city of Pittsburgh. Yeah, DK Metcalf touchdown against his old squad in a spot in which I think that we're going to see some offense from them as well. I didn't even love pretty much the same reasons that I just said I like the Steelers, right? Outside of them playing good defense, I think DK Metcalf Calf is going to be someone that benefits from that. He did get I want to say he had a decent game. He actually had that one drop. I know I saw the drop, but he had 7 targets, 4 receptions. He had one really bad drop. He had 83 yards. He could have had more because, again, he had a really bad drop. So this could have been like 100-yard day from him. I know I'm looking at touchdowns, and I get it. Touchdowns are a little bit different. He could have 1 catch for touchdown and catches, but I think he'll have the volume. And he did. I don't think he even got a red zone target in that last game. So you know what? It's his time. They're going to call his number if they need to. I feel like there's a little bit of get back there in terms of revenge. Plus 145, it's worth a shot to me. So yeah, I guess I technically doubled down into that game, but nope, still just a single down in this game, in this play.
Yeah, I don't know about this one. I gotta be honest. I do like the Steelers in this game. There's the first and foremost part that everybody and their mom seeing him play the Seahawks again think he's gonna score a touchdown and have a big game. It's typical. But on the other hand, and although I did crap on the Seahawks a little bit, I have to also be honest and fair to them. They do have a very good defense, and I do think that they are also one thing that people aren't talking about with the Steelers with that win is that the Jets did put Aaron Rodgers on his ass quite a few times, and he got under pressure a lot. Now he did pretty well under that pressure, to be fair. But if you thought that the Jets defensive line was going to put pressure, the Seahawks defensive line can also put pressure. I don't know. I think their secondary is pretty good. I have a hard time. He's not going to be able to throw like he did in that Jets game. He's just not going to be able to. The Seahawks defense is legit. McDonald, very familiar with the AFC North. Not necessarily familiar with Aaron Rodgers per se, but like he knows Arthur Smith. He knows that Steelers team. Obviously, he coming from the AFC North, coming from the Ravens a couple years ago. So it's tough because DK Metcalf is their number one weapon. He's really their only legitimate, consistent wide receiver. But I don't know. That's tough.
I get it. I mean, I'm sitting here and it's like this isn't a yards, this isn't reception, like it's a touchdown. It's kind of a roll of the dice regardless. So even as much as you cannot like it and have struggled to find the words to figure out like why you don't like it, it's like it's the same reason as I like it. You know what I mean? Like I just think
the Seahawks defense is legitimately good. And I actually the same reason why I think that Sam Darnold will struggle. I think Rodgers can struggle too. I just think that Rodgers is proven he's better under pressure than Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold, when he gets pressured, he folds. Rodgers, even in his older age, has proven last week a good example where you put him on his ass, he's still, guys in his face can make the crazy throws. And just seeing that last week makes me go, okay, he still has a little bit of that Aaron Rodgers magic left in him. DK, obviously, one of the better receivers in the league. I could see him scoring a touchdown. The odds are against them here, is what I'll say.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's like DK could have 1 catch, 1 yard, 1 touchdown. You know what I mean? It's kind of a roll of the dice. What I will say, and it is, I bet you'd say the same thing, regardless if you like this play or not. The fact that Aaron Rodgers had 4 touchdown passes and not one went to DK Metcalf last week is shocking. Like I would have thought that would have been like I'm saying, like, DK has 1 or has 2, because realistically, Calvin Austin, Freiermuth, I think he only had like, a couple catches also, but really not the best receiver core there. So it's kind of shocking that he had 4 touchdown passes.
Yes, but the Jets also have Sauce Gardner.
Fair enough. But 4 touchdown passes to not your number one. You would have thought that maybe the corner, all their entire secondary didn't play that well. Yeah. I guess they didn't. But anyways, all right, what do you got here? Player prop.
We are giving a lot of love to that Jets-Steelers game. I'm going to have to keep going on about it. I'm going with here Bills-Jets. I'm going Josh Allen here over 1.5 touchdown passes. If Aaron Rodgers can throw 4 touchdowns on this Jets defense, why can't Josh Allen throw 2? I mean, that's fair. That's the simplest way. If you want like the 2-second explanation as to why I like this, if Aaron Rodgers can do it, why can't Josh Allen do it? You're getting good value too, -110 over on BetMGM. Aaron Rodgers, he did go ahead and cash this over against Baltimore. He had 2 touchdowns. The fact that they only scored
Josh Allen, not
Josh
Aaron
Allen, yes.
Rodgers.
The fact that they scored 41 points and he only had 2 touchdown passes is a little concerning because obviously that means they're doing a lot of their damage on the ground game. But the Jets' run defense actually wasn't all that bad against the Steelers. Steelers actually couldn't really run the ball that effectively.
Mm-hmm.
So, taking that into consideration, I do think that the Bills will have to throw the football a little bit here, and they're going to have to look at what the Jets give them on film. And the film showed that they were doing pretty good stopping the run, but you could throw on them. And I think the Bills, I like their receivers. I think they've yet to break out a couple of the guys like Keon Coleman, Khalil Shakir, a couple of Dalton Kincaid actually had a couple good plays. Like they still have some guys where you're waiting for those weapons to really just burst onto the scene. Like Dalton Kincaid, everybody from a fantasy perspective last year was like, oh, Kincaid.
Yeah.
And he busted last year. Same thing with like a Keon Coleman, Khalil Shakir. Like they brought in Amari Cooper, and Amari Cooper ended up stealing a lot of value from these guys from a fantasy perspective. I do like what I saw from Keon Coleman and Khalil Shakir in that first game. I think the Bills have enough in the wide receiver room to go ahead and put up points.
Josh Palmer too.
Yeah, and this Jets defense, after seeing what happened last week, Josh Allen should be able to go ahead and get 2 touchdowns here. And again, the numbers are on our side. He did catch this at a 60% hit rate last year. That includes playoffs. So 12 out of 20 games, which you'd like to see a little bit more of a cover rate considering how good of a quarterback he is. But again, he really likes to run the football into the end zone himself. And if not him, James Cook. To be fair, though, he played the Jets 2 times last year. Both meetings last season, he had exactly 2 touchdown passes against the Jets. And I think their defense might be a little softer this year based on what we saw in week 1. Granted, it's early. But pretty good head-to-head record versus the Jets, too. So I like this spot for Josh Allen. 7 of his last 10 games, he's cash dating back to last year as well. So I like this over. And again, minus 110 for a quarterback like Josh Allen to get 2 touchdown passes. To me, kind of a steal from a value standpoint.
Yeah, I think if you were to ask me maybe even last year or the year before, I'd be like, no, you're crazy because they're just going to get it in the red zone and he's going to run. Which, yeah, he did have a couple of those against the Ravens, obviously. But I think we've learned now over the last, year and week that they don't want Josh Allen being the chicken with your head cut off rushing quarterback, especially when the field shrinks down in the end zone, the red zone, excuse me. So, yeah, I could see him sitting back there and delivering 2 touchdown passes. Again, a couple years ago, I'd probably be like, I don't know. I mean, that's not even his first thought, even if they draw the play up, he might still be thinking I'll scramble. But you're going up against a Jets team, which their defense, I know they have a lot of names, but like you said, if Aaron Rodgers can do it, I think Josh Allen can too. So I do kind of co-sign this one. I'll also say that what a better time to get some of these young receivers or new receivers, Joshua Palmer being their free agency signing, and he didn't really turn on until later in the game in the comeback. But either way, like you have Coleman, Shakir, now you have Palmer. Like what a good defense to go up against if that Pittsburgh game's any indication, what a good defense to go up against to kind of get guys in rhythm, get things going. You're clearly the better team than this Jets squad. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that anyone would argue that. So yeah, it's probably a good spot to test out, them keeping Josh Allen in the pocket in the red zone and being able to make some plays. So yeah, I can't really say that I don't like this one. And the fact that you're getting, near even odds at pick 'em odds at minus 110, kind of like it. I also will say that, Josh Allen, like, I feel like can do whatever he wants on, like, he could just be in a really good zone in this game. I feel like he always plays really well against the Jets, unless I'm thinking of something else. So you have that going. He could have one of those, like, when guys look like they're artists out there doing their thing. So yeah, don't necessarily mind it whatsoever.
Josh Allen has dominated the AFC East like Tom Brady did. It's like when he played like the Dolphins, the Patriots, he just turns it up a notch. And so that obviously adds to it. And again, I think the one honest risk here, I guess, two. The first one, obviously, being if Josh Allen decides, I'm not going to throw today, I'm going to run it, and steals a couple touchdowns from himself. The biggest one to me is if that Jets defense, because last year, if you look at last year, touchdown passes against, they were the second best defense in the NFL last year on outlier. Like they were very, very good. They only gave up 1 touchdown pass a game against opposing quarterbacks. Again, one more time, week 1 was clearly a different thing. Was that just the week 1? We haven't had a preseason. A lot of you guys didn't play in the preseason. We have some rust to shake off, or has the Jets defense regressed a little bit in this new system under new head coach Aaron Glenn? remains to be seen. That's the tough part about week 2 is that we overreact to what happened in week 1. Maybe the Jets defense buttoned things up here for this game. But again, I'll say it one more time. Like, based off of last week and what Aaron Rodgers was able to do, why can't Josh Allen do the same thing?
Yep. And I mentioned how I think he plays well against the Jets. Those 2 games you referenced that he has 2 passing touchdowns in each of them. He also has a rushing touchdown in each of them. So he had 2 passing, 1 rushing, both games against the Jets last year. But all right, Tasos, it is that time of the show. We move into the Fade Me round. Guys, you're going to see a wheel on your screen. If you guys don't know what the Fade Me round is, like I said, you'll see a wheel on your screen. Just like you saw at the beginning of the show, it's got a bunch of Ev slices, a bunch of Tasos slices. Whoever this wheel lands on gets to make a pick of their choosing. You don't have to follow any category from a wheel or anything like that. Anything is on limits, or nothing's off limits, probably the better way to put it, and the other person has to take the opposite side. Last week, I took the over in the Bucks and Falcons game. I caught the L. Tasos was forced to take the under, and he caught the win. So it is a detrimental thing if you end up, getting Fade Me and missing a play. But I have a few things up my sleeve this week, so I don't mind it, Tasos. I'm assuming you want Fade Me as well.
Yes. Yeah, I have a pick in mind.
Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and spin it. Let's see what we got here.
Oh, here we go. What's going to be?
Is that going to sit? Is it going to sit? Is it going to...
It's going to sit.
I blow on it?
It's going to sit, baby. It's going to be me.
All right, you got Fade Me. What are we looking at here?
Now, there's a couple different... Obviously, we talked about if you watch the show over the years, there's different strategies. You can go with the heavy favorite and let this person take the big-time underdog, vice versa. A lot of different ways you can go about this. I'm kind of going with what I just mentioned, like the heavy favorite versus the heavy underdog. I am going with Monday Night Football here. The second Monday Night Football game, I'm going with Chargers on the money line. Minus 170, it looks like is the best odds that I just currently found it for. Let me just see what those are. Minus 170. What sportsbook did I just see that? Oh, I guess no big at minus 173. Then the odd disappeared on me. So minus 173 on Novig is what I'm grabbing it for. So you will have to take the Raiders on the money line at plus 169 also on Novig. So before I go into my reason for liking this, your initial thoughts of having to tail Raiders money line.
I think people. I don't think the Raiders are real. I don't think that was legit in week 1. I think that was a really bad performance from a Patriots perspective. I don't like backing the Raiders on the money line here.
Yeah, that's literally what this is like, and I hate that, and I think Raiders fans are going to end up really hating me by the end of the year because this year I've talked a lot of crap on them. One of my best friends, Johnny Football, he actually has been on the channel before. He came on a couple of my old videos when I first got going here at Guy Boston Sports. He's a diehard Raiders fan, and obviously he has bragging rights over me as a Patriots fan. That week 1 game was a crapshoot for the Patriots, but the one thing that he and a lot of Raiders fans are singing right now is the praises of this team. And like you just mentioned, I don't think this team is that good. I don't know how you watch that game and come out of it and say the Raiders are legit. I think it was more a case of, and same thing with the Colts, where I'm not saying the Raiders don't have anything good. I think their offense, like Geno Smith, was playing very well. Their defense is not good. I'm sorry, it's not good. And I think that the Patriots, you just happen to play a Patriots team that can't throw the football. You now go from the Patriots to the Chargers, who can run the ball, they can throw the ball. Quentin Johnson apparently just went to Brazil and became a superstar. Their defense is legitimate. They're a well-coached team. They have an identity and a culture. And to add insult to injury for the Raiders, this is a team that they had lost to consistently. They lost both times they played the Chargers last year. I just don't – I think the Brock Bowers got hurt in that Patriots game. That's one thing you could not afford to have happen to you here. I think the Chargers are legitimate. They beat the Chiefs. Obviously, a very good win to kick off their season. But the Raiders, you go from the Patriots to the Chargers. The Chargers are a much better team right now than New England. They have a legitimate offense, a legitimate core. I don't want to take shots at Drake May. I love Drake May, but Justin Herbert's a better quarterback. Let's just be honest, at least right now. I think the Raiders hype. I've read a lot of hype from other teams this week. The Raiders hype has been the funniest. Like I saw Pete Carroll, a lot of even national broadcasters, Pete Carroll, Coach of the Year, talk after that game. Like you won 20-13 against a Patriots team that literally could not throw the football, and you're given Coach of the Year, and everyone's like, oh, the Raiders. This might be the worst secondary in the NFL. It could be the worst secondary in the NFL. Now, the Patriots were not equipped to show you guys that. Guess who are, though? The Chargers.
Mhm.
Lad McConkey, I almost went with that pick, too, just to kind of a little throwback to last week, a little over in yards action. But, yeah, I just think the Chargers are a legitimate playoff team. I don't know if I want to throw the word Super Bowl contender in there, but they're pretty close. I mean, if you look at the top teams in the AFC, I think the Chargers are up there.
Yeah, I mean, Super Bowl talk. I do think that the Bill, like, I think that Sunday Night Football game maybe showed the league how head and shoulders these two Bills
Yeah.
and Ravens teams may be. But obviously, like week one, who even knows, right? Like the Chargers could go out and stink, and it's like, oh, well, they beat the Chiefs, but that was just 1 week. We don't even really know yet. I hate having the Raiders in this spot. I don't necessarily mind. Like, I'll still leave some drama for my Monday Night Football video when I kind of talk about this, but like the spread is 3.5. That's obviously a key number. So I don't know if that's, if we were given that, I don't know exactly how I'd feel because it is a divisional game and all that. But yeah, I think this Chargers team is far, far better. And you talk about overreaction when you talked about that Indianapolis game. I think people are definitely giving the Raiders a lot of credit, whereas the Raiders are the version of you in this show last week, and I was the Patriots. Do you know what I mean? Like, really, like I did
Wow.
everything possible to, I guess this helps your point, but also shits on you. So you take it however you want, okay? I was the version, I was the Patriots and stunk that made you look good with a W. Whereas I don't know if this Raiders team really is good at all. Like they could, this team could get beat handily by a Chargers team. So yeah. And especially, everyone thought that, with the Harbaugh offense and whatnot, they were really going to run and they have Hampton in there. The fact that they went out there against the Chiefs and said, we're going to dot you up, to your point with the Raiders secondary, like, wow, I'd be scared if I was that secondary right now. So yeah, I hate having the Raiders. I don't necessarily mind a fade me here at plus 169 in a primetime game, a late, like maybe that's the best situation for me because weird things happen, but yeah, don't necessarily mind it. You shared yours that you didn't get to throw in last week and it came through.
Yeah.
Should I share what I was going to go with, just I guess to help the other people out? Because
what did I throw last week?
Jacksonville against
yeah,
Panthers.
that's right. Yep. Yeah.
So
go for it.
So this is a similar strategy to what you just put out. I don't think it's as I don't know if you'll even like this, but I was going to look at the Bengals over the Jaguars this week. That's like minus 160 something. But I think that this Bengals team, they didn't look good in week one, but they truly have emphasized, like, if you've listened to their pressers and whatnot, all they talk about is starting hot, going hot. They had to get lucky to win that game in week one, and I have a feeling that their reiteration in the locker room, whatnot, is, guys, we won. We finally got like a week one win, but we didn't really start too hot. I think that, there's a massive overreaction to the Jaguars beating the Panthers as well. And you even said it yourself last week. Like, this Panthers team is not very good. The Jaguars beat them. I think that the Bengals at home this week win too. But the Chargers, I probably like that more, if I'm being honest.
I do slightly agree because I do kind of like the Bengals a little bit. Again, I've started doing I do my research for the Oracle right before we record, so I kind of I do my research for the Oracle and I get our picks obviously for H2H through that research. This is a game where I'm going to be honest, I lean Bengals, but it's a coin toss because yes, the Bengals won week one, and everyone's like, oh, they exercised their demons, like they're no longer the slow start team. But
they got lucky.
They honestly probably should have lost that game if the Browns had a legitimate running back
or field goal kicker. Did he miss 2 field goals?
Yeah, the kicker missed field goal. They got really lucky in that one, and that's where I'm like Jacksonville. And I get it, they beat Carolina, but they have the new coach. Trevor Lawrence looked a little bit more comfortable.
That is fair.
Travis Etienne had his best game in a long time for the Jaguars. Like I don't know. That game is such a coin toss for me where it's like I think the Bengals should win that game, but Jacksonville's offense right now and their defense honestly played very well. Also, that's a tough one. It's a tough one. So
well, it's not relevant either, right? Doesn't matter either way. But I have the Raiders at plus 169 and you minus 173. And anyone that's in the comments being like minus 173, why would you ever play that? That is the point of the beauty of the show, I should say. There's different strategies. Like one time I think I took like a minus 300 favorite thinking I would give you Tasos automatic L and I'd only make a little bit of coin on the flip side. And I feel like you might have got I think I might have lost that. There's one time when
it was the reverse. I took the Lions at like minus 300 in the playoffs. So they play Washington. I had them
That's
like
what it
minus. I had them like
was.
minus 290, and the
Yep.
Commanders were like plus something, and then the Lions obviously got spanked here.
Yep, that's what it was.
Yeah,
But anyways, so that's the whole point to make here is that the fade me round we can be a little bit creative, right? Like you take a shot in the dark because it could work reverse too. Say I wanted to take, just for the sake of argument here, say we wanted to look at like the Ravens. What are they? The Ravens this week are like minus 700. Browns are plus 646. Even if I took the Browns, right? For the off chance that somehow they win, even if you win, you're barely making anything. I mean, I'd be
yeah,
losing a full unit, so I get why that could be a issue. But you could also do the flip side where, yeah, you almost guarantee yourself a win, barely make any units, but you're guaranteeing the other person a loss too. So there's a lot of strategy that goes in to fade me. So if anyone has any problems with a minus 173 play, hopefully that kind of clarifies it. But
yeah. It's
Tasos,
I'm more trying to give you the unit loss here than I am trying to get a value at minus 173.
right, exactly. How do you feel about your board?
When we started recording, I was very nervous about what today's video was going to come out to because, like we talked about beforehand, I didn't love the board this week.
Yeah.
I think I came out with as great of a board as it possibly could have. So
Okay.
I'm happy. I'm very happy with the results.
Yeah, I'm a little shaky, man. I mean, I have DK to score a touchdown. I have Sly. Those are both big plus money plays. And then my fade me spot's a plus 169.
And
So
you
I
got
only
Steelers. I mean, the Steelers played a good one,
but at least that's what did I minus 122 or so whatever. Wait, what did I get that at? Yeah, minus 122. That's my only minus odds that I have on the board today. So we'll see how things play out. But hey, sometimes those plus money spots are nice to be able to hit like two of them and still make some profit going
week
2-2.
two is the right time to do that though too. Like this is the early part of the season where it's like honestly the minus plays honestly are the ones that are going to get you more losses early on.
There
so
you go.
might as well just
crazy.
go for it. Go crazy.
Fair enough. But yeah, I think that is going to wrap up week number 2 here. This was season 3, week number 2 of H2H. Tasos, I'm coming for you. I want to knot this one up. I don't think going down 2-0 is a good spot to be in the rubber match season. Yeah, it's good. It's good for you. Fair enough. But all right, we'll catch you guys in the next one. All right, peace out.